We have been blessed with a ton of new gameplay and videos for Jedi Survivor. This all comes from the recent preview event that Respawn held in Los Angeles, where they invited a bunch of creators out to try the game. Although they aren't able to spoil anything major or story related, we were able to get their initial impressions, thoughts, and concerns on Jedi Survivor. In general, all feedback was extremely positive, with most people stating that it is essentially an improved version of Jedi Fallen Order. They were only able to play through about 3 hours of gameplay that takes place during the start of the game when Cal crash lands on Kobo and has to seek out Grease for repairs. We got to see a better look at Rambler's Reach, the main hub area on Kobo, as well as a ton of new NPCs such as Doma Dendra, who is a vendor who will sell you different cosmetic customizations for Cal in exchange for priorite shards which are found throughout the world. We also get to see Cal meet Ash Javi and her DJ droid DDEC. You can interact with this droid inside of the cantina, which we find out is owned by Grease. From here you can change the different music that is being played inside the cantina. It also appears that NPCs will give you side quests, which is great to see as Fallen Order had little to no side content besides for collectibles. We have also heard that as we progress through the main story, new characters and areas will open up to us on Kobo, so revisiting Rambler's Reach will likely reward us with new encounters, missions, and meetable characters. So Grease's cantina functions as a hub type area where Cal even has his own room. He can also change his clothes, customize his lightsaber, and even plant new seeds in the rooftop garden area, which is a bit of an upgrade from the small terrarium in the first game. From all reports, Kobo is going to be massive and apparently is even bigger than Zepho, which was the largest planet by far in Fallen Order. The map has also been reworked apparently, but stuck to the principle of showing whether or not an area can be accessed by its red and green coloring. Red meaning that the area can't be accessed and green meaning it's available. In saying this, some people said that it was still a bit confusing and found themselves trying to follow the map but ending up tracking down a side mission or a different area when they just wanted to advance in the main story. Exploration on Kobo was something players commended, as the planet is apparently much more open than the linear style to the ones we saw in Fallen Order. From exploring different Jedi puzzle rooms to going through dungeons and more, it seems that exploration in general is going to reward players for their efforts, whether that be a new cosmetic or skill point to even an epic encounter like a Rancor. This looks so epic when I first saw it and is a great callback to the original films. Apparently after completing a dungeon-like area, you have to face off against this giant creature, and according to many creators, it is strong as f***. Some people were playing on Jedi Grandmaster difficulty and stood no chance at all and were dying in literally one shot. So it seems like this is going to be similar to the Ogdo Bogdo fight from the first game, where you might just have to return later down the track to take it out. Nevertheless, it's a super cool addition and it's just one example of cool surprises we will have in store. It wasn't shown, but another creator mentioned that they came up against another boss who was wielding a lightsaber, so we definitely have plenty to look forward to when it comes to exploring Kobo. In terms of getting around, they have made it 10 times easier with fast travel, which takes place at various meditation points scattered around the world. Apparently it's not available all the time. For instance, I assume when you're in the middle of a story mission, you probably won't be able to fast travel and will have to find another way out. However, it's something that us as a community asked for and Respawn delivered. Personally, I'm going to try and limit myself initially when it comes to using it, but definitely in the end game after completing the story, I'll be fast traveling everywhere to collect and complete all areas in the game. Cal has also got a new grappling hook that he can use to attach and climb certain areas, as well as the ability to tame and ride mounts. We know of 2 of these, with the first being the Neko, which is your horse-like mount that you can ride around on, and even has the ability to jump, allowing you to access certain heights and areas you previously couldn't. The second is the Belter, a pterodactyl-like creature which you can use to glide down areas. Something else that you can find throughout the world are force tears, which are like time challenges for you to complete, with this one here being a platforming level, where you have to reach the end whilst avoiding the laser shield, and completing these gives you in-game rewards. There is also plenty of new enemy types in-game. The Bedlam Raiders are one of the core factions on Kobo, and have taken control of a droid army which adds tons of new variety to different foes that we will have to come up against. There is still a strong Imperial presence in-game, meaning we will still get to face off against the various different stormtroopers. Of course, we have seen the Rancor, however there are tons of new creatures as well to fight. and we found out that the one that we actually thought was a Wampa is actually a creature called a Mogu, and they can prove to be a handful. Cal thankfully starts off Jedi Survivor with all the abilities he had in the first game, with even a few new ones. In fact, one of Cal's new Force abilities is Force Confusion, where you can use his Jedi mind tricks to make different creatures attack other enemies, similar to how the Imperio Curse functions in Hogwarts Legacy. Combat and platforming looks extremely smooth, and you can tell that they have added in some new lightsaber animations for Cal, partly due to the new stances that are on offer, as you can start the game with the regular single blade, double bladed, and twin blade stances. These were the only 3 that players got to try out, with the crossguard and blaster stances being obtained later in the game. In saying this, at the end of the event, someone from Respawn gave a demo of the 2 new stances in a gauntlet game mode, and apparently it got the crowd very excited. There is no footage of this unfortunately, but we do know that in the blaster stance there is a move where you can use the Force to lift enemies in the air, and then follow this up with a Deadeye attack, blasting each enemy in succession. We got a good look at the new skill trees in game, which each lightsaber stance having their own tree available, as well as ones for Force and Survival. Depending on your playstyle, you will most likely be able to tailor your build to your favored stance, which is a neat feature. I've also made a full video going into all the new stances in game, so feel free to check that one out after this video. It's clear that customization got a major revamp for Jedi Survivor, with so many new options for both Cal, his lightsaber, and BD1. These vary from new facial hair options such as mows, goatees, and beards, as well as hairstyles like mullets. There is also plenty of clothing options with the ability to even change the color of specific items, allowing you to mix and match and design a bunch of combos to your liking, as well as an even more in-depth lightsaber customization system, allowing you to swap and change each specific component of the hilt as well as the color, which now gives you the option to use a white lightsaber just like Ahsoka Tano. I'm so happy they reworked this system, because in Fallen Order it felt like all you would get in reward for your exploration was a new poncho, so it's awesome they have gone above and beyond when it comes to new customization. There is also a bunch of new accessibility settings that you can toggle, like ray tracing, increasing your field of view, removing fall damage, and even an arachnophobia filter, which I assume will remove spiders whenever we have to come up against them. Jedi Padawan is the newest difficulty setting, bringing the total to 5 to choose from. It lies in between Story and Jedi Knight, to offer a more beginner to intermediate option for players to choose. Like I said at the start of the video, all reports seem to be extremely positive, and if it is indeed a more polished and improved version of Fallen Order, we can't really complain. However, there were a few issues some people found, the major one being repetitive frame drops in certain cutscenes and areas. Now, the build that they were playing on is of course still in development, and apparently they were playing on max settings on a high-end PC, but it's still something they definitely need to fix come the game's launch, because you could have the best game and story, but if some parts are running at less than 30 frames per second, it's just not going to cut it. Overall, it's still super exciting stuff for Jedi Survivor, but before you decide to buy the game, you'll really want to check this video out, where I go through all the different editions available and which one is the clear winner. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always guys, take care.